This is the story of the zombie attack in Miami. On May 26, 2012, a man strolled onto the MacArthur Causeway in Miami, Florida. He had his clothes pulled tightly around his body, almost like he was preparing for a swim. His name was Rudy Eugene, and he was about to go for a walk that would change his life forever. And not in a good way either. As he walked along the bridge, he passed cars going by, paid no attention to them. But one driver saw something strange, something that made him stop in shock. Eugene stopped in the middle of the road and started eating the face off of another man. The victim, a homeless man named Ronald Popo, had been sleeping on the bridge when Eugene approached him, ripped his face open, and began to feast on his flesh. People who witnessed the scene from their cars could only watch in horror as Eugene methodically ate away at Popo's face. One person even claimed that he looked like a shark tearing its prey apart. Others said that Eugene looked calm and focused, as if what he was doing wasn't completely insane. It almost looked ritualistic. When the drivers who had stopped to watch realized what was happening, they called 911. Within minutes, dozens of police cars zoomed onto the causeway, sirens blaring, lights flashing. When officers arrived on the scene, they found Eugene straddling the homeless man, biting chunks out of his face. The victim's eyes were gouged out and his nose was almost completely torn off. Eugene was covered with blood and flesh too, which only made the scene look even more horrifying. It took several minutes for the police to get Eugene off of Popo. By that time, the homeless man had lost both of his eyes and his nose, and much of his face was destroyed. To make matters worse, Popo was still alive, meaning he had to be transported to the hospital conscious and aware of what had happened to him. Eugene was also still breathing when officers handcuffed him, which meant that anyone who came into contact with him afterwards had no idea how he might react or if he could somehow pose a threat to them. The police officer who eventually shot Eugene, Jonathan Aletta, later said that Eugene appeared to show no fear whatsoever when he looked at the gun pointed at him. He stared back blankly. At first, the police weren't sure exactly what had happened on the bridge. They didn't know why Eugene had attacked the homeless man or how the two of them knew each other. But they did find out that Eugene had recently taken some kind of drugs known as bath salts, which can make people see things, feel invincible, and act aggressively. As it turned out, this was just the tip of the iceberg. Before long, news of the gruesome Miami face-eating attack spread across the country and the world. People wanted to know everything they could about the horrible crime. But there was one thing that the police couldn't explain, which led some people to believe that there was something unnatural at play here. After Eugene was shot and killed, an autopsy revealed that he didn't have any drugs or alcohol in his system. Sure, he'd taken bath salts before, but they don't stay in your system for very long. There was also no evidence that Eugene and Popo knew each other or had ever met before. And finally, witnesses said that Eugene acted strangely, like a zombie during the attack. This last detail is what really sparked people's imaginations and led to rumors that the attack wasn't just a random act of violence, but actually a real-life zombie attack. So, here's what we know for sure. On May 26, 2012, Eugene went to the MacArthur Causeway looking for someone to kill and eat. For whatever reason, he chose Popo as his victim. He bit off of his face, causing massive damage. Eugene then proceeded to eat the homeless man's face as if it were food. This continued until the police arrived on the scene. It's unclear why Eugene chose Popo as his victim, though, and this has led to all sorts of wild theories. Many people online believe that Eugene was somehow turned into a flesh-eating zombie, perhaps by a voodoo curse or maybe even a new type of zombie virus. There's certainly no shortage of zombies in fiction these days. So it makes sense that some people thought a real-life zombie attack had occurred in Miami. However, there are other, more logical theories as well. Some people claim that Eugene was simply having a psychotic episode. Maybe he snapped because of all the stress in his life, or because of how little sleep he'd been getting. Others say that Eugene's strange behavior was caused by undiagnosed mental illness. In fact, after the police released surveillance footage of the attack, many people commented that Eugene looked like he was moving strangely, like a puppet. Some people even said he seemed to be floating above the ground at times. Of course, this isn't actually possible, but it does sound convincing when you consider that Eugene did not seem to feel pain or show any emotion while being shot multiple times by the police. But here's the most disturbing part of the story. Eugene had previously threatened to eat someone's face. According to reports, just weeks before the attack, Eugene told several people that he planned to eat someone's face and then use their heart to cure his ailing mother. He also believed that he was going to be arrested soon, so he needed to do what he planned to do before he went to jail. There's no telling whether Eugene really meant what he said or if he was just putting on a crazy person's facade. After all, he did have a history of mental illness and drug abuse, but his comments do help to explain why he chose a random homeless man to attack. Eugene didn't pick Popo because they knew each other. Instead, he just wanted to eat someone's face, and the homeless man happened to be there at the wrong place at the wrong time. The question is, why did Eugene want to eat a face so badly? And was it really just a product of a deranged mind? There's no clear answer, but some people have offered up an interesting theory. They say that Eugene was trying to perform a type of dark magic by eating the face off of a living person. This may sound like a far-fetched idea, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. In recent years, there have been several high-profile cases of people committing acts of violence and cannibalism that can only be explained by dark magic or demonic possession. In some cases, the perpetrators even admitted to being influenced by Satan. While such claims should always be taken with a grain of salt, it's undeniable that there are some crimes that seem to defy explanation. Perhaps Eugene was one of these criminals. Maybe he really did think that he could save his mother by using a voodoo spell, and eating the face of a homeless man was part of the spell. We may never know the truth behind Eugene's actions. But one thing is certain, his bizarre behavior will continue to fascinate and horrify people for years to come. And now you need to watch what actually causes a zombie apocalypse, or have a look at Zombie Survival Guide. Real or fake?